everybody else, and then you just fall over and you clunk out and you're dead. I'm telling you the truth. So, one of the most important things that you will ever, one of the most important decisions you will ever have to make in your lifetime is how to handle stress. Did you know that stress is almost a number one, like up there with number one killers? Stress will kill you. So, we're going to talk about, first of all, what causes it and what you can do about it. All right? Make sure you share the video. Thank you to each of you who are here on my YouTube channel, Dolores Jones TV, as well as Facebook and Instagram. I appreciate y'all, okay? So, one of the most important decisions you will ever make in your lifetime is how you choose to handle stress. And one of the biggest stressors is creating false deadlines. Now, we live in a time-conscious, world. You got this deadline you got to do, and then if you have children and they have stuff that is due. So, say for instance, you're at work, and the person says, "I need this project done by next Friday." Now, usually when a person asks for something, it's what they need. It's what they want. It's not necessarily what they need. So, in order to shift the conversation to help yourself, you'll say, okay, well, what is the actual last day? What is the last date that if I don't do this, the earth is going to quake and everything's going to go crazy? And sometimes they'll say, well, actually, it's next Tuesday, but I really want it by next Friday. Cool. Now you're thinking differently versus putting the pressure on yourself with these false deadlines. I've done it many a times, especially like when you're in graduate school or you have a school, you're in school, and then you have a job, and then you're a parent. There's a lot going on. So that's one of the number one stressors right there, is you create these things. They're your thoughts. Man, we said next Friday, but I can't do it next Friday because I'm out of town next Friday. So communication is going to be the key to handling your own levels of stress. Number 2, unrealistic expectations. You're trying to meet unrealistic expectations of everyone. And that's impossible. This is like totally impossible. You're not Wonder Woman and you're not Superman. That would be nice. Superman, come and get me, please. But the truth of the matter is, you're not a cartoon caricature. You're not. You're a human being. You have needs and wants and desires. And one of the things you need and should want is how to handle your time and stress. Sometimes you could be so stressed out that bumps will come out. You'll break out in a rash. That happened to me one time. I was working as a social worker for an organization that helped people who were living with HIV and AIDS. And one of the things I wasn't really banking on is that when I took over in that role, people were starting to die. They started dying. And I'm just like, wait a minute now. Wait. Okay. And it was like every day I would go into work, somebody had died. And then it was my job to organize a memorial or try to find their family members. And it was so overwhelming that eventually I was like, Dolores, guess what? You're going to have to leave this job. It's okay. Because you're not built for this right now. And sometimes those of us that are always trying to fix other people's problems, we go get jobs where we're trying to fix everybody else's problems. Why? Sometimes because we don't want to deal with our own problems, or maybe fixing or helping somebody else deal with their problems, you feel better about yourself. And we all want to feel needed and wanted. But here's the thing, you need and you should want to be your very best self and be as healthy as possible and enjoy your life. Enjoy your life as you're getting older. Become bolder and be happier. You can't do that if you're worrying everybody's stress around you. Oh Lord, here we go. All right. Now I know I'm talking to you because we will make decisions to get into stressful situations. Now let me tell y'all this story. This is so funny. So you all know I have a background in broadcast journalism and a master's in social work. And so, I can make some choices on where I want to work. Well, one of my doctors, she said, listen, Dolores, you need to come out of social work full time. You can't do it like that anymore. And it wasn't that I didn't have the skill set. It was that I had so much trauma from my own life that she was saying, you can't do this. It's going to break you down. So she put me on a 2-week, what do you call it? A 2-week leave, medical leave. I was like, oh my God. So I started worrying about my bills and everything. I was worried about my bills. So when I went back to work, the young woman that had really been my coworker and we were hanging, they had promoted her over me. And I was like, okay, here we go. So instead of looking out for me, she was looking at me and reporting me to the boss. And so when I talked to her about it, I said, what's this about? You know, she got all indignant. And I said, you know what? I ain't got time for this. So I went to my other location. So now she's responsible for turning in my time sheet. She can say if I'm tardy and all this. And I'm like, you know what? I don't have time for this. So she comes out to the other location that they placed me at. And she comes in with a piece of paper. And she says, you put your sick leave on the wrong week. And so I'm going to write you up. Now, you know, she was just trying to, okay, she gave me that paper. I balled it up and threw it away like a basketball. I said, look, I ain't got time for this. I ain't got time for this. I don't have time for this. So, of course, she went to the supervisor and I had to go down to the HR and try to explain it. And so she was there and the HR person was there and the supervisor was there and they're looking and the young lady says, people just don't want, you know, she's just bringing in things. And I'm thinking, girl, me and you had the extended lunch breaks together. We went to get our pedicures together. We had our sons over at each other's house. Why couldn't you just have told me that they want you to report what's going on with me? Because, see, as long as both of us was doing it, nobody was going to talk about it. But now she felt like she had the upper hand. So long story short, I'm in the meeting, and now I'm trying to fight for this job that the doctor told me to come off of in the first place. And as I'm going at it, and you know, I'm speaking my truth, and I'm a professional, so I'm just letting them have it professionally. And I just heard the Spirit say, shut up. I was like, shut up? Shut up. So I got quiet. And the question was, why do you have to have this job? You're like, why do you have to have that girl? Why do you have to have that woman? Why do you have to have that guy? Because we put too much stress on ourselves. We feel like this is the most amazing job in the world. Or this job defines me. And so when I got quiet, what came up was, you just want to know how you're going to take care of your son. They could take this job and shove it. Quite honestly, if you knew you had other options, or if you believed you have other options, because you really do, Dolores. And so while I'm in the midst of getting ready to let them have it professionally, I stopped and I said, I just want to know how I'm going to take care of my son. And I started crying. I said, that's it. I just want to tell me how I'm going to take care of my son. They were looking, and as I heard myself cry, I knew I was being true to myself. And then I apologized to them. I said, you know what? Thank you for allowing me to be here and to work and to serve. I wish you all the best of luck. And I went on about my business, but I was still hard-headed. And that's part of the reason some of us are stressed out. We're hard-headed. The doctor says, don't do that, and you do it anyway. So my next job is they were looking for someone to work with suicidal people. I was like, cool, I know about that because I've been there, done that, right? I've been there, thought about it. So I go into the interview and the lady's like, so this is what's going to happen, and these are how many people you're going to work with. And I'm looking, and she's just raving about my qualifications. And y'all, as I am sitting there in the interview, and she's basically saying, you got the job. I interrupted her and I said, I'm so sorry, but I just realized that this is not the job for me. This is not a good fit at this time. And she's looking like, what? Who does that? You have to do that. That's called managing your stress, overextending yourself. You don't have the right to do that. You understand? You don't have the right to do that. Unrealistic expectations. So let's talk about, you put on too many hats. You're a mother, you're a lover, you're a wife, you're a sister, you're an auntie, you're a niece, you're a granddaughter. And so you're trying to go into all of these roles and fulfill the expectation that everybody has for you in your role as a sister. And I had to have a family conversation with my family and say, listen, this ain't working for me. This ain't working for me. So I'm going to bow out gracefully, because the expectations you have for me attached to the title that you're holding for me, they're not working for me. It's killing me. So I'm just going to step on the side and get in my rightful place. And sometimes that's what you have to do in an extended family situations, because you already know African Americans, y'all, we are good for this. A parent dies and you take them in, and now you they mama, but you really their aunt, and you confuse the kids. And that happened with me. I was like, oh Lord, what's really going on? And so you're trying to create the structure, but now it becomes a ball of lies, because now the kids have to go out and say, well, that's my grandma, but actually that's my mama, but really she's your grandma. And you're looking and you're confusing the hell out of everybody else, and then you're confused. And that is stressful. That will drive you freaking crazy. We're talking about one of the most important decisions you will have to make in your lifetime, and that is how to handle stress. You notice I said how you handle stress. We allow ourselves to be stressed out. Listen to some of your conversations. Girl, these kids are gonna kill me. What? Why would you say that? Girl, this job is stressing me out. Then why are you on that job? And what can you do so that you don't allow the stress of that job to overtake you? You gotta be specific. If it's not working for you, it's not working for you. Well, how am I going to pay my bills? You're going to figure this out. So since you know it's not working for you, then now is the time for you to plan your escape. You can either say, hey, I need to go part-time. And believe me, your doctor will give you a note. That's what my doctor did. And she said, okay, if you do social work, Dolores, listen, you can only do 20 hours. Now, if you try to exceed that and you get sick from the stress, you need to let your employer know that you need to come on back down to 20 hours. So when I accepted another assignment, it was a part-time assignment for like 24 hours. Now, I'm guaranteed 24 hours, but I can exceed that if I am able to. You get it? So that's the way I am managing or handling stress in my life. Another thing to think about, you stress about who likes me. Can I be a part of this group? What did she say about me? I think she's mad at me. You're trying to go into somebody else's head, and you have no power to do that. Plus, you can't control what other people think about you. In fact, there's a book out there that says, what you think about me is none of my business. It's not. Those are your thoughts, but you want to share them with me. Can I tell you that I think you're beautiful? You're like, oh, okay, but I think you could lose about 10 pounds. And now you're like, okay, so she thinks I'm fat? You know, and you start interpreting that. You don't have time to entertain other people's conversations and thoughts about who they think you should be. And that's very stressful. You're trying to be something you're not because of other people's expectations when they say to you, oh no, you're really not, you shouldn't be a teacher because they don't make any money. But in your heart, in your soul, you are a teacher. Now you can teach on different platforms. You don't necessarily have to be a teacher in a classroom. You can teach webinars. You can teach workshops. And now you can do it anywhere in the world using your computer. All right? Another one of those things that stress you out. You're trying to be everything to everybody. In other words, okay, as a single mother, my son had a habit of telling me about stuff at the last minute. He would come home and he would say, Mom, I got a concert tonight. You got a what tonight? Mom, I got a concert tonight. I said, well, why are you just now telling me? I thought I told you. No, you did not tell me. So that was stressing me out. I said, listen, we're not going to be able to do this. You need to tell me in advance, at least 3 days in advance, when you have an event, so I can put it on the schedule. And if it's something you need for school, you need to let me know, not the day before. I said, I don't operate that way. So we had to come with an understanding. And then he started saying, Mom, okay, next Wednesday I have a concert. I said, thank you very much. I appreciate you letting me know that. And if he came home and everything was an emergency, Mom, it's an emergency. My teacher said I have to do this because if I don't do this, then she's going to lower my grade and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, kids interpret things very differently. So what did I do? I pick up the phone. I call the teacher. I said, so Ricky's concerned that you're going to fail him or drop his grade if he doesn't do A, B, and C by this time. No, Miss Jones, I didn't say that. so I had to explain to my son what she meant. Because most children, young adults, we don't ask, well, what did she mean by that? Did she really say she gonna fail me? So then I paid attention to his grades. They have something called School Loop. You can go in there and look at your kid's grades. So before he got way out of order, I'm sitting there saying, listen, we got to get this done, baby. We got to get this done. We got to get this done. This is why we got to get this done. Remember, everything is not an emergency. There's a quote that says, your failure to plan ahead does not constitute an emergency for me. And y'all know we got people in our lives that will call you at the drop of a hat. Hey, I got a job interview. Well, when is it? It's like in 2 hours. And I just woke up. Okay, so that means you're not going to your interview. I mean, because apparently it wasn't that important to you. I remember having a situation with one of my siblings, and he called, he's like, Dee, what you doing? I said, I'm all the way in Johnson County or something. Can you take me to work? Where you working? Downtown Missouri. Now, we're talking about a 45-minute drive, not including the fact that I gotta go pick him up. I said, you know what? I'm not going to be able to do that. Oh, is that right? You're not going to be able to do it? I said, no, I'm not going to be able to do it. So then, of course, he goes with the guilt trip, which I wasn't impressed with it. Because, see, you need to be careful. There are certain people, when you don't give them what they want, they're going to try to tear you down. And if you can, you just give them an exit roll. You just exit stage left. Your failure to plan does not constitute an emergency for me. And just because you say I am your sister, and you have these expectations as a big sister, it is not my job to take care of a grown man or to solve your problems. You always thought you was better than everybody. It's all about you. You ain't nothing but a selfish such and such. I'm sorry you feel that way. Block. Ain't got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. I'm not getting ready to stress out. And then, people go to the other, well, I called Dee Dee and I asked her to do this and she wouldn't do this. And then they get other people involved in the conversation. It has nothing to do with them. Well, Dee Dee, so-and-so said you wouldn't. I said, listen, he's a grown man. I ain't got time for that. And I will be honest. I said, the only thing I owe him is a kick in the ass. That's it. You don't owe everybody anything. Explanations. This is your life. Well, we all had a tough time growing up. Yes, you did. And you made a decision to do something about it positively. Let's just be honest. One of the most important decisions you will ever make in your lifetime is how to handle stress. Dolores Jones, your comeback coach, is my name. We're here on my Facebook page as well as YouTube, Dolores Jones TV. I'm just giving it to you right here at the beginning of the year because 2021 is the time to get it done. You cannot get it done if you're stressed out trying to do everything to everybody. Everything is not an emergency. The other thing is don't overcommit yourself. I'm guilty. Raise your hand if it's yours. Because you want to make a good impression. Well, sure, I can do that. Okay. Yeah, oh, well, definitely. Okay. And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that I even agreed to do that. This is driving me freaking crazy. Oh my God. So then you get there and now you're upset, you're pissed off, you got an attitude and you're like, what's wrong with her? And then you want to fuss. Well, I did all this because you said, and they're looking at you like, you decided to do that. Learn that the word no is a complete sentence. No, and no. No is a complete sentence. Well, why? You don't owe them an explanation. And that's another reason you get stressed out. Because you're like, I'm going to tell them no. And then they're going to say A, B, and C. So you're trying to project what may or may not happen. Research shows that 85% of the things that we worry about, which worry is really rooted in a negative expectation, 85% of what you worry about does not happen. And even if something you think is going to happen, think about the worst thing that could happen. And then ask yourself, will I be all right? Now, if the worst thing that could happen is that you die, okay, now that's an emergency. But if it's not an emergency. There's a difference between an emergency and an inconvenience. Let me give you an example. My son called me one day. Mom, I got an emergency. Baby, what's your emergency? I left my coat. I said, Ricky, that's not an emergency. If your eyeball come out and roll down on the ground, that's an emergency. I said, so what you're going to do is you're going to stay at school without that coat. And so if that coat is so important to you, then you're going to remember to take it, okay? I'm not dropping everything, because there's a point where you have to teach your children how to be responsible. Remember, children become adults. So you can't solve everybody's problem. You're not down with OPP, other people's problems. Well, they might reject me. Well, learn to love yourself. And I'm not saying that rejection it feels good. It doesn't. But when it comes to a person trying to play you, and it's causing you more hell and harm than good, then who's zooming who? You already know people will use you until they use you up, or they'll use you till they have no use for you. And you already know it. So you got to handle people. They say love some people far from a distance. I don't be able to let you come to my party. And then sometimes you have to just be absolutely honest. Listen, I decided that you can't come because you bring too much negative energy, and I don't have time for that. I'm doing something new in my life. What do you mean I bring too much negative energy? They ain't crazy. They already know it. And you just got, hey, holler at me when you change. Think about that. Now, another way that stressful things can happen, especially in these relationships. Let me talk to the married folk for a minute. I've been married before. Okay. Just because you saw your mama do it for your father does not mean your wife is going to do it for you. So you have to understand, you need to speak what your desires are, and then the person has a right to say, hey, I'm able to deliver that, or I'm not. And you got to be okay with it. So let me give y'all an example. My husband, that's a positive term for he was my husband. I'm trying to stay positive with the energy. He wanted a hot meal on the table when he came home. There ain't nothing wrong with that. There ain't nothing wrong with a hot meal on the table. If your wife ain't working. If she ain't working. Now, if you married a career woman, professional woman who has a child, and I got to go all the way over here to get my son because we have a custody situation. Listen. And then you go the entire day without eating, and you bring all of that negativity in your big old stomach to the house to cause havoc, you got a problem. So this is what I tried to do to solve the problem. I made shepherd's pie, Shauna. Shepherd's pie has your starch, it has your protein, it has your meat and your vegetables, and it's quite good. So I made this big old pan of shepherd's pie, and it was so good. So he comes home and he's like, well, what's for dinner? I said, oh, you can warm up some of that shepherd's pie. He said, what? I said, there's some shepherd's pie in there. Some people, I don't do leftovers. Then, baby, I don't know what to tell you, especially if you got a full-time job and you're a parent. Come on, somebody. Let me back this thing up. Back the thing up. Okay, listen. So, he says to me, I don't want no more shepherd's pie. And I said, then you don't want to eat. Is it fair to me for you not to eat breakfast and lunch and then come home and piss a fit because you don't have a hot meal on your table? He said, well, when my daddy came home, my mama was at the door. Point. Your mama was at the door because your mama was at home. And she would open the door and she would greet my daddy with a kiss. I said, uh-huh. I said, well, when my grandma came home, she opened the door and said, you kids better go out there and get them clothes, get the groceries out of the bag, get the groceries out of the car and come and put them up. See, we had two totally different experiences in our lives. So he was so adamant. He stood there, just stood there. He was so pissed off. I said, well, let me tell you something. Your mama, she's not married to your daddy anymore. So apparently that situation, it wasn't really working out. Because see, you can't believe everything you see. You know what I'm saying? And what you see, there's sacrifices. And before you know, you go trying to emulate or imitate somebody. You go, well, how do you feel about that? Girl, this man is getting on my nerves, girl. Y'all remember when Michelle Obama, after she had left the White House, And they were asking her about Lean In, the book, can you have it all as a successful woman? And the news reporters were just like, oh my God. And this is what she said. She said, that shit don't work. And everybody was like, oh, Michelle Obama said that shit don't work. And it was the news headline. She was basically saying, stop tripping. You can't have it all. You may have it all, but you can't have it all at the same time. You got to be realistic. You know that song said, I can bring home the bacon fried up in the pan. Baby, that was a commercial. I loved it. It was a commercial. It's a commercial. And see, we have to learn to respect each other's professions. Ain't that right, William? We got to respect each other's professions. Now, my work as a broadcaster and social work, it requires a lot of mental energy. And just because you don't see it, so you got banker's hours. No, and I work to do this. The more education, the more options you have. You start to write your own way. Now, I'm focusing on becoming my own boss because I don't like somebody telling me when I can go pee-pee. I worked at a, what they call that place, one of these home security companies. You got a time out, and then the clock is gonna tell you when you came back and how long you was at the bathroom. I was like, what did you say? Oh no, I wasn't cut out for this. I tried it. I was working 7 to 11. No, 11 at night to 7. Listen, I went and I told the man, I said, you know what, I appreciate y'all, but honey, I'm not coming back tomorrow. See, I had to eliminate that stress. I had to learn that you can't work 11 to 7, Dolores. That's not you. Now, if you're at home and you're in your element and you wake up and you don't have pressure on you, girl, you can produce that thing. I can be creative when it comes to certain things that I really want to do, right? Anyway, so this is part 1 of this. You have to make that decision. Nobody is going to make that for you. People don't want to hear no. You don't even want to hear no. But sometimes you're going to have to hear no. The other thing is, let people take care of their own stuff. Let them figure it out. Well, girl, my daughter, she done moved out. Yeah, girl, she got caught up with this guy, and girl, just a mess. I told her to go to college, and then he talking about he loved her. And so then she dropped out of school, baby girl. Now she got this baby. And I'm going, girl, I told you I was trying to help you so you wouldn't be like me. Well, mama, I got rent due. Well, you better call your baby daddy or the man. Well, my lights will be cut off. Well, if you keep running to pay their light bill, they're never, ever gonna learn how to be resourceful. There are things called candles. I use them. So you're not, okay, they're called candles. Well, my water's gonna be turned off. Well, why is that gonna happen? Well, I had to have these shoes. Well, do you have the receipt? Because you need to take them back. Stop rescuing your children, your adult children. They're never going to learn. And then they're going to be somebody else's problem. You get in a relationship with them, and they say, well, my mama did. Baby, I'm not your mama. I'm not your mama. I'm not your mama. No. Who sang that song? She said, you not my daddy, you my man. Y'all better wake up. Save yourself some time. The key word here is allow. No one makes you do anything. They may threaten you and then you choose not to do it. But you allow them to create stress in your life. Because some of the things or some of the same situations that you may be in, another person's in the same thing and they're not experiencing stress. Why? Because they have made a decision. On the one hand, you have not. Let me give you a good example, because this is, you know what, y'all know I work with a lot of women. Somebody asked me, she was telling me about her friend, y'all. Intelligent young woman. But she's paying her man's car note and his rent. Y'all know, you do know that is okay. She said, I don't understand. I said, baby girl, let me tell you something. Who was that? 50 Cent. He said, if I did something, would you, was this 99 questions? I got 99 problems, but a non-working man is not one of them, okay? Somebody say A to the man. Honey, I said, well, let me tell you what to tell your friend who is paying her man's car note, cell phone bill. I said, let me tell you about what I did with this one guy who called himself moving to Kansas City to see me, to be with me. I was so excited, Diana. I was so excited. He said, hey, my job is relocating me and I want to be close to you. I was like, well, okay, then the man moved to KC to be with Dee. All right. So he gets here. I said, hey, you got to sleep on the sofa. No wine before it's time. Y'all know, still trying to love Jesus, okay? A week passed by. I'm like, this is crazy. I come home, the young man is sitting in the floor. I can't make this up. He's playing Xbox. He's sitting on my carpet with my big screen TV and he's playing Xbox. I said, well, what's up with your job? Well, you know, they pushed it back. They pushed it back. I said, wait a minute. I said, well, listen here, I'm going to help you with your resume. See, we're always trying to fix it. Let me help you with your resume so you can go ahead and get a different job until this job becomes available. He said, okay. So he wanted to work for GameStop. I ain't got no problem with that. If your thing is games and that's your passion, then go own one of these GameStops, okay? All right. So he goes to work. I'm excited. I'm like, okay, woo, this is crazy because he ain't got no skin in the game. He's not paying any bills. Everything is the same except I got a grown man in my place. I come home. He's back in the floor on my carpet playing Xbox. Now I'm venting at work to one of my friends. She's like, girl, at least he's making your lunch. I said, girl, it's my food. It's my food. I mean, he's not doing me a favor. So I get back and he's like, well, something came up on my resume and on my background check. I had a fight, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, y'all know I'm really resourceful and I can be very nice, but you can't play me for no food. So I called the men's shelter in Kansas City. And for those of you who live in Kansas City, you can pick one. You got the City Union Mission. You got the Salvation Army. You got Catholic Charities. So I called City Union Mission. I talked to a guy named Richard. I said, Richard, there is a young man who needs a bed tonight. Okay, Dolores, well, tell him to get here before 7 o'clock because, you know, we have limited numbers of beds. So when I get back to my place, I give the young man the number. I say, hey, you need to call Richard. You got to be there before 7 or he's going to give your bed away. What are you talking about? Who's Richard? I said, he runs a men's shelter here in Kansas City called City Union Mission. And they have a bed for you. A shelter, I said, when I met you, I told you, I don't take care of grown men. My brothers can't live up on me for free. Now, do you think I'm going to let a grown man come and run game on me and live for free? You got the wrong one, baby. So he got a slight attitude. I can't believe this. Would you like to leave on your own or do you need the police to take you? See, some of us are stressed out because we aren't serious. You know, we don't follow through with consequences. He's looking like, what? I said, may the Lord bless you real good. I'm not about to do you. You're not about to do it. You're not about to eat on me for free. You don't even have the decency not to try. You're going to pick up a $10 can of cashews. We at Walmart. You put it in the basket. I look at you. I took it right back out. Oh, no, player. Oh, no, player. Blah, 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 It's one thing to be a fool and it's another one to stay a fool. You better ask somebody. What we're talking about right now, y'all, and I got to go, is one of the number one most important decisions you will have to make in your lifetime, honey, is how to handle stress. We're going to talk about this a little more because I have a lot of experience in it. And I'm going to be right here. Listen, let me say something. Nobody gets to kill you unless you allow them to. And you may make one of the hardest decisions of your life, like putting your child out. And then they may say something like, you was never a mother. And you got to go, shut the hell up. Okay? So we're going to talk about this in part 2 so you don't fall for the okie doke. Because I'm going to let y'all know that some of these young adults have amazing parents, but because the parents won't give them everything or the parents are not going to be played, now they're the worst parents in the world. You don't love me. I love you. No, because if you did, you wouldn't let me sleep in my car. No, if you loved me and you were respectful, you wouldn't have cussed me out. Come on, somebody. Oh, his feelings are hurt. Listen, it's best his feelings be hurt. I'm not getting ready to play with you. I am not going to play with you. You're not going to cuss me out. Girl, you know, his daddy wasn't in the house. Well, his daddy wasn't in the house and he got to go with his daddy. You're not about to do it. Like the old folks said, you don't believe fat meat is greasy. If you make your bed, you're going to have to sleep in it. So if you cussing and being disrespectful, child, please. And I love Jesus. Don't try to play the Jesus card on me. I thought you said you love Jesus. I said I do love Jesus, and Jesus was upset. He turned the table over. So if you don't get up out of here, I might have to flip you. Y'all know I ain't playing, don't you? And I love Jesus. And he's my friend. Y'all have a great day. We're going to come back for part 2 of this one. So write yours down so we can help you get rid of that extra load. 2021 is the time to get it done. You got to get it done, baby. You got to get it done. Go ahead and hit the subscription button here on my YouTube channel, Dolores Jones TV. And for you all on my Facebook, keep coming back for more, honey. And then YouTube, hello, Dolores Jones TV. And Instagram, at My Comeback Coach. Will y'all meet me back here a little later on in the afternoon? You promise? Okay, I'll be looking for you. I hope you're waiting for me. Bye, y'all. Mwah.